Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's my second Halloween tutorial and I'm first gonna moisturize with this Tucker Ashley moisturizer. I really like to apply a moisturizer under when I know I'm gonna use any type of face paint or makeup. Now I'm gonna take this white foundation by LA Girl, and it's just like the other HD foundations, but this one's just in white. I wanted to use a white base just because I wanted to give my skin an appearance of a very washed out body, which is kind of like what my look is kind of all about, you know. And I first started applying it with a sponge, but I saw that it was applying a little blotchy and there was a little, streaks going on, and I really didn't quite like it. So furtherly in the video, I go back and blend it out with a brush. Now I don't want to apply this white base to look like a clown. I'm just applying a thin layer to look a little washed out. That's everything. Now here I'm blending it out with a brush just because I saw a little bit of streaking going on and I wanted the base to be really smooth, so I went in with this brush, and it's by Bare Minerals. Make sure you also take the white base on the sides of your necks and on your kind of like on your cleavage area, just so that everything is nice and smooth and looks evened out, Now for my eyes, I'm going to take the World Traveler palette, and I'm using the shade Morocco and a Morphe 411 brush, but any type of fluffy brush will work. What I wanted to do was just kind of create an appearance of like really tired eyes. Now I'm going to take this Estee Lauder brush and I'm going to apply the shade Fudge, and it's gonna just start creating kind of like a lower, more dense and really tired lower lash line. It's kind of like if you're recreating an eyelid, but just a really tired eyelid. So this is optional, you don't have to do this step. I just really like the way it made my eyes look really sunken and tired. I just made sure to have that shade really blended out. And I'm also going to be applying the shade Fudge on the top of my lash line from my lid, just to make sure that my eyes look nice and even and synced in. Now with the shade from Bisou, it's called Carmine, and that same Estee Lauder brush, I'm going to start creating a little bit more redness on my eyes and a lot more like tiredness to them. I felt like the red really tightened the rest of the colors because it made my look really, really tired. So I really liked it. You can use any red shade that you have. And if you don't have an angled brush like this, you can also use just a pencil brush. That would work totally fine with it. Just use whatever you have. You don't have to go out and buy anything that you don't own. Now here I just took a Morphe pencil brush and I was just making sure that there was no division of the colors, just kind of blending everything out. You don't have to be precise with the colors, but you still want to have kind of like a gradient to them to make sure that your eyes get that really zombified effect, if you know what I mean. I went in and applied a little bit more of Fudge just to intensify that lash line that I'm trying to recreate. I'm trying to make sure that my lower lash line looks a lot more deep and downwards than my regular lash line would look. And here it was a little harsh at first, but blending it out, everything's gonna start smoothing out as we blend out, because I'm just trying to kind of sketching out where I want things. And then I decided that I wanted my eyes to look really dark and deep. So I took in that same shade Fudge and ran it along my brow area, so that I kind of created like an illusion of really matte brows, non-existent brows, but really matte brows. That's kind of like what I was going for. So I started mapping out kind of like where my tail was gonna end, and I made it sort of odd, not really how a normal brow would look, more like a zombie brow. I don't know, in my mind I feel like zombies have really weird brows that make them look almost upset, and I kind of feel like they also emphasize their wrinkles. So that's kind of like what I was going for here. Now I'm just repeating the same steps on my other eye. I'm gonna really fast forward this part so that it won't bore you guys for it being so long. But if you have any questions on the look, you can always just comment below. So here I'm just taking a Morphe liner brush and the NYX gel liner. But you can use any gel black liner that you like or that you already have. And I'm going to start carving out where my mouth is going to look like it was bitten or it exploded. I don't know. I'm trying to just create like a broken mouth. And so then I took this white liner by Wet n Wild, and I'm going to start kind of mapping out where I want my teeth. I'm not going to fill them in with white this time because I want my teeth to look really like zombified and, I don't know, worn out. So that's kind of like what I'm going for here. And this just depends on where you want to place the teeth. You really don't have to do the same thing I did, but it's more like to where you want to place the teeth. Now here I'm just gonna start filling in this space where it's supposed to be like shallow or empty. And I just took the same NYX gel liner. You could also use like a pencil, but last time it took me quite a while to fill in with pencil, and it kept like the end kept finishing, so it was just giving me a hard time. Reason why I decided this time to just stick to gel liner. Now here I just took a black shade, any eyeshadow that you have, just to kind of smoke out the mouth, because I want it to look a little bit more dimensional, a little more like a 3D effect. So I started just shading the outer portion of the mouth so that it gives it that effect. Here I just went back in with the shade Carmine, and I decided to add the red just to create a little dimension, and also because I wanted to simulate like I had a piece of tissue from like my mouth area that was just like kind of like sticking out. So I decided to add it just to make sure that it looks a lot more cartoonish. But yeah. And here I just kept like shading out the mouth because I wanted it to look really like realistic and almost like if my mouth was actually this damaged. So here I took a little yellow paint liner that I got in a set from, actually it was like a zombie kind of Halloween makeup that I bought at Walmart, and it's just a yellow pencil. You can use anything you have. I went with it because it was kind of waxy, but I really didn't like the outcome. I just decided not to mess with it anymore, so I just left it like that. Now here I'm going to take the palette by Wet n Wild, and this one is the one in neutrals. And I took that maroon shade just to start giving the illusion of worn out or torn out tissue from the mouth, just to really simulate that my mouth was actually torn out. So I just decided to add that. I started first with a little brush, but it was a little hard in times, and then I decided to add that same color underneath my eyes to make them look really like they were just really tired and bloody. And I took it also to my brows just to give them a little bit more of a matte brow effect. And as if this zombie doesn't really care about its brows. So now I'm going to take these stencils. They're also by Wet n Wild. They come in a casing like that. I think they're like $2.99. But you basically just stick the stencil wherever you want to create that image. For instance, this one is like a bite, so I decided to apply it near my neck, almost on my cheekbone. I mean on my cheek, my bone color, I'm sorry. And I went in first with this brush, but then I saw it was a little hard, and I took one of those sponge like little triangles and I started blending the color out. I really wanted to make my neck look like infected skin, so I started just dotting the color everywhere. Like I let my imagination go with this color. And then I also went a little bit on my cheeks just to make sure it looked a little muddy and it looked like I had been through some kind of like an adventure as a zombie. And I took it along my hairline, but I don't know if I'm a fan of it, honestly. If I would recreate this, I don't know if I would go with that color along my neckline, my hairline. And here I decided to give my nose a little contour because my zombie wants to be pretty too. It wants to be contoured. It doesn't just want to be really spooky, but it wants to be fashionable. So then I took the color from the palette that is a little bit like a brownish red, just to add more colors, and it looks like a really nice gradient of effects going on. I decided to extend the mouth and just keep shading in, the color on my skin. And here I blended it out with a brush just to make everything look more like skin, like it's not just on top of my face. Like I wanted it to look more realistic. So I feel like the brush really helped. Also, it helped the paint I had put on my hairline because I really wasn't digging it with the sponge, but the brush really blended everything out and made everything look super smooth. So here I'm just applying a little bit of the cream shade onto my cheekbones just to make sure that they pop out. And here I took the stencil part where it has like little veins, and I kind of wanted to do like little veins on my forehead just to simulate like it was just really tired. But it ended up looking like a mess, and it looks like somebody just hit me with something. I was gonna take it off, but my husband said that it looked pretty legit, that it didn't look bad. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep it. Then I took some liner, and I feel like this is what I should have done initially. I should have just taken liner and just drawn them on. I also drew some in my eyes, like under my eyes, just to give it an extra little effect of craziness. But so far, this is how our zombie is looking. I really, really, really like her. If I redo it, I'm probably gonna take off the ones in the forehead. Now this is the fun part. I took this fake blood gel, and it's like a gel texture, and I started just messing with it everywhere. I went wild with the blood. Now I do want to say, if you buy this type of blood, just be very, very careful because it really stains, you guys. I stayed with the stains probably like for 2 days, and I couldn't take the stains away until I bought like a soap that was from St. Ives. It was really good in just taking all that paint off. Because I actually even used my Clarisonic to take it off, and it wasn't. Like, it was just making more redness and stains. And so I decided to put the blood also in my hands, and I put a little bit of paint as well, just to make the effect of my zombie being like full of mud or blood, or just residue from like drying out blood. And this is the way she came out. I'm pretty proud of her. I really like it. I hope you guys liked it as well. It was pretty fun for me, and you can tell I had fun with the blood. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.